looking for an easy way to get chores done in your home, especially when you have a bunch of little kids? Stay tuned for my dry erase chore board method. Okay, so back when I had just younger kids and I didn't have any big kids to help me, and the house seemed to always be a wreck, I knew I needed to have a method that was kind of quick and dirty, if you will. Something that was very simple because I was in a season of my life when it was back-to-back babies and there just wasn't a lot of people in the house who could help, but there were a lot of people making messes. And so what I did was I ended up making a dry erase chore board that we changed out every single day. It was not a set amount of chores or this day is this chore. It was an evolving chore list, if you will, because that's all I could manage. So basically what I did was I got myself a dry erase board. Kind of like this one. I think mine was smaller than this, and the one I eventually had hung on the wall. It had sticky stuff on it, and I would hang it on the wall. I got my original one just at Walmart. I've gotten them before through Miller Pads and Paper, and so basically this is just a really simple board, dry erase board. I mean, it's pretty chewed up because we've had this one for a while. But every day I would look around the house and I would write on my board the names of the people who could actually do something in the house. And at that point in time, I only had two. And this one was kind of helpful, but she was still pretty young. And he was probably about 8 and she was about 5 at the time. And then everybody else was like 2 and under. So I didn't have a lot of helpers, but I had a lot of messes. So I would get up in the morning and I would look around the house. And I liked to do this in the morning because I didn't usually have the energy to get the house, super tidy the night before. So in the morning, I wanted things cleaned up before we started school. And so when I looked around the house, I would see what things just were in dire need of some help. And it's pretty obvious, the things that really need to be done. So I would write down something like, under Blake's would be, he could handle something like sweep and mop kitchen. And my 5-year-old, she could have handled something like tidy girls' room. And I would just write a couple of things down for them to do before they started their schoolwork. And then I had my own list of chores that were obviously too big for them to tackle. And a lot of times I would add to it, but it was so freeing for everybody involved to be able to take the eraser, and when you got it done, you got rid of it. And it was a relief. It was like, I'm finished. And so everybody really actually responded really well to this idea. Like I said, it was first thing in the morning. They got up, they did their quick little morning chores that they do, and then they went straight to the board to see what Mom had written down. And basically while they were doing morning chores, getting their teeth brushed and getting dressed, I was checking over the house and I was writing down things so that it would be ready for them. And we would work probably half an hour on those chores, and then we would start school. And it helped me because it got rid of the eye clutter, and I don't do real well with eye clutter when it comes to homeschooling. I really need things to be, at least in my line of view, need to be fixed and done up rather than undone, because all I can see is what needs to be taken care of, and it really distracts me from being able to just mother my children and be there with them. If you're finding that you're having a really difficult time managing your home and homeschooling at the same time, I would like to introduce you to my brand new book, Home Management for the Homeschool Mom. This is specifically for homeschool moms. There's not going to be anything in here that isn't useful to a homeschool mom, which is what you typically find in home management books. Things that are way too much work, way too involved for a homeschool mom, because we aren't just mom, we're also teacher. We don't just have the regular things lying around the house, like toys and games and things like that. We have school paraphernalia lying around the house. And we aren't packing lunches. We're making 3 meals a day plus snacks. So we lead a very different life compared to the public or private school mom. And that's why I wrote this book. Inside this book, there are tons of ideas and helpful hints for you to create a schedule and a home management system that you can stick to. You can get this in paperback, you can get it in PDF download, you can get it in audio, and you can get it on Kindle. So there's lots of options for you. And all you need to do is click the link that you see on your screen, and it'll take you straight to the page where you can take a look at the table of contents, and you can decide if this is maybe something that would be a helpful resource for you to have in your home.